I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's, that is one of the intentional designs behind the diagram. You
Mm-hmm.
know, is and the dreams plus action equals reality formula.
Mm-hmm.
It's something where I said, how can I on a day-to-day basis remind myself, even if I don't, but remind myself to make a new and a better choice, even if it's just incrementally better than the double hot fudge sundae.
Right.
It's a couple of bites or something. And so that was really the purpose behind it, where it wasn't something where I'd have to necessarily put myself back in the books for.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I just carry, I carry around in my head. And you know, if, if this would be a good time, I have three phrases that I use regularly. If you think that people might be interested in
Yeah.
something to shift, and let's use the morning routine. I'm going to do that shift too, like you are,
Yep.
Hunter.
Yep.
So my first uh, in my first phrase that comes to mind overall is just the words "I choose to." In a matter, if you just say "I choose to," in a matter of probably 5 minutes, you'll be so tired of saying "I choose to,"
Mm-hmm.
but your awareness level of choice goes up. I choose to wear a blue shirt today. I choose to, I choose to have my coffee. I choose to hit the snooze alarm, because to just hit the snooze alarm, we're skipping we're skipping a connection here.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say I choose to, it's like, oh, there's something,
Right.
there's a connection here between me and what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, I, and so that's one of the phrases, is to say I choose to, and it doesn't say it throughout the day, whenever, especially when you're having a tough time. And eventually, like everything else, it becomes a habit of, oh, this is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's not throwing this on me.
Mm-hmm.
This is my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if for myself, if it's really a challenging situation, I add an extra phrase. I say, I choose to tell my new story. If I find myself complaining about something too many times, or talking about something that just isn't serving me well, that other phrase is, I choose to tell my new story, that in the morning when I wake up, I'm going to be refreshed, and I'm just going to get up and start my day.
Mm.
Or even if I'm laying there and the alarm goes off, I choose to tell my new story. It's time to go. It's
Yeah.
time to. And so the new story reminds me, I'm not breaking an old habit.
Mm-hmm.
To me, breaking an old habit's a myth,
Mm-hmm.
because since they're just two choices, you're either going to choose a new habit or you're going to choose an old habit.
Yeah.
So if you say I choose to tell my new story, or choose to start my habit, you de-energize the other choice, and when you de-energize it, it just has to go away. You're not energizing it.
Yeah. Wow. I like that.
And then the last one is to say, just the raw, dude, just two choices.
Yeah.
Get on it. Just two choices. So that's my third quick way, if I'm starting to feel a little sluggish, let's just say, come on, man, just two choices. Let's get going.
Yeah. No, I like that. I appreciate you breaking that down and sharing it. And that is kind of the direction I wanted to take this as we kind of begin to close out the conversation is the top things to me are what are your biggest pieces of advice, and what's the summary of your platform. So you just gave us a very practical summary of your platform and ways to change your mindset in a very simple way, talking to yourself and reminding yourself. I definitely like the breaking a bad habit as a myth. I think that's a great soundbite, and I appreciate you sharing that. In addition to that, what would you say is just some of your more important advice, is if you think about what we talked about earlier, and the early to middle managers, supervisor, team leaders, things along those lines. What resonates with you the most?
I think that along the management side, I'd say from what I've experienced. Just two choices, not marketing, just talking straight, thought here. That when everybody knows that they're just two choices, then they know which choice, and they're clear based on every level of management, which choices really add to the upward trajectory of the business, and which don't. Then it becomes in your business, it becomes a phrase. It's almost like saying, well, you got to do the right thing. So I, not too long ago, was talking to somebody who had an employee fix something. They didn't fix it. They tagged it as being serviced, piece of tech equipment, sent it back. They went to the other company went to turn it on. It didn't work. Cost them a $450,000 contract.
Wow.
Just two choices.
Yeah.
Just two choices, right? That if people share that mindset of just two choices, like, yeah, I know I'm burnt out. I should be asking for help today, or maybe I'll just go talk to the boss and say, look, I'm sorry, I can't get this done for 2 more days. Can we work something out with the customer? Instead, that other choice was made, and for whatever reason, but it had a consequence that went far beyond what anybody ever expected. And so from top management, middle management to frontline employee, just two choices. Are we doing something that really is still contributing to the upward trajectory of business? Saying something serviceable when it's not, and sending it back, just doesn't contribute to everybody's welfare along those lines. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think about just putting myself back in some of my earlier leadership roles and kind of how some of this content plays into what I would have want to have heard and what you're sharing here. I think about some things when you're managing people and when you're managing resources in general, sometimes things aren't necessarily binary, but that's a lot of times in my experience a symptom of just an organizational culture or rules or something like that, right? So my encouragement would be, and I'm just kind of tagging this on to what you're saying, in those situations, is to try to simplify things and break them down to where you can have some clarity, right? Because that clarity comes from clarity is kind of an output of this just two choices mindset, and making sure that you're setting yourself up for success, whether it's clarity around communication, clarity around team norms, whatever decisions need to be made. I would, encourage that person that's listening to this, that is in that situation, to use this mindset and framework of yours to say, okay, this doesn't seem that simple at face value. How can I break it down? What can I back into to kind of break this down a little bit? Does that align with kind of your philosophy and on that?
Yeah, and as I'm looking at your sign, be a catalyst, on your wall there. What it makes me think about is sometimes with employees, in different groups, they're not really clear. I mean, it's common sense about what kind of choices to make, but some other of choices over time, it's important that those be clear, and if they know that they're just two choices, like, we will not send a piece of equipment back. I mean, I know it's common sense. There are some things that evolve over time in a business, that you got new people, and they're just not familiar with the way things have run. And so as I see your sign back there, I'm picturing these are, a just two choices diagram that says, this is what takes our company upward, and this is what takes our company downward. And this is what we want you to be aware of when it comes time to making a choice.
Yeah.
Look at the line, see where it is. If it's above the line, cool. If it's below the line, let's get help. Straighten it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as we think about people getting in, listeners getting connected with you, we did mention justtwochoices.com. And by the way, that's JUST and the number 2 and then choices.com. Is there another preferred way for people to connect with you or reach out to you?
No, or just put Rico at justdochoices.com. That'll make it even easier.
Okay.
Just send me a note or comment that way, and that'll be the fastest. I appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Just a couple of random questions as we tie this conversation up. You're in the Denver area, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Any snow skiing in your future? Are you a skier?
Not in the past couple of years.
Okay.
I'm waiting for my brother to come back. He's in Mississippi right now, but he and I will be heading back out when he comes out after the first of the year. How about
Pretty
you?
fun. Yeah, no, I've been to Breckenridge a few times. I would like to try some other areas, and I've been kind of in the Northeast as well. It's fun for me. It's just a big commitment. I between family and training for Ironman, things like that. Vacations that are just for me are hard to come by. My wife does not. I've tried to get her out there. She does not enjoy it quite as much as I do.
Well, congratulations on making it all. Choosing to make it all balance out.
Yeah. So my last question, because you have flown a variety of aircraft, I would love to know what was your favorite.
Without question. F-16.
Okay.
The F-16. Yeah. There's see the smile.
Yep.
That just that kind of says it all. That's just like phenomenal.
Was it is the more exhilarating? Is it the maneuverability? Is it the speed? Is it kind of a combination of the two? What's
Yeah, it's all of that. Yeah,
okay?
it's maneuverability, speed, visibility,
Yeah.
power,
Yeah.
agility. I mean, it's all of those, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a rush. It's yeah. That's the only reason I'm laughing is that's the common phrase. I don't know. There's kind of a common phrase among F-16 guys. If you say to a guy, "What'd you fly?" and versus if they're an F-16 guy, they just usually break into a smile. And
Yeah.
so
That's awesome.
like very blessed that it worked out.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Rico, it's been a pleasure to have this conversation and talk about just two choices and the at the core theme. I really appreciate your time and having you on here.
Yeah, honor and a privilege. Thank you, Hunter. All the best in 2021 and with Iron Man and with the family too.
Awesome. Thank you, Rico.
Thank you.